Wait, man, you're the first Civ div. That's cool, man.
Yeah, brother, yeah, it was.
Yeah, what was your IDIOT number?
32865543.
You just gave me your idiot number, moron, and there's no such thing as the 1st Civilian Division.
Hey, man, who the hell are you?
Your insignia says that you're in the 5th Marines. There hasn't been a 5th Marine since 1969. Stolen valor! Stolen valor! My friends died wearing that uniform, you fat little bitch. Stolen valor!
Congressman, thank you so much for being on the program. And I'm sure you can imagine what we want to talk about today, but we're glad to have you on the program because we want to talk about it correctly. I myself am not a veteran, so I don't pretend to speak for this community. But I can tell you this, my phone is melting down with vets that I know and GWAT veterans that I know that are pretty upset right now. About what's going on with Tim Walz. The floor is yours, sir. Is this stolen valor?
Well, you basically spelled it out. You've articulated this very well. And I want to say that, there's less than 1% of this country that chooses to actually serve this country in any capacity. So one service is very important. The fact that you chose to raise your hand to defend this country in any capacity, I think it's a great thing to do. It shows your patriotism. You don't have to lie about your service. You don't have to lie about what you did or didn't do. And if you did not serve in a combat zone and you claim that you did under any capacity, that's a lie. And it's actually a slap in the face to all of us who actually did. And by the way, we're not going to criticize you in any way, shape, form, or fashion for being honest about your service, because service is service. But when you look at somebody that's now potentially can be the vice president of our country, and he can't tell the truth about his own personal service and about those that did serve in combat, and quite frankly, for those that served in combat that didn't make it back, like many of my friends, like many of my West Point classmates, like many that served in Afghanistan, like there's 13 soldiers that did not come back after that disastrous Afghan withdrawal. When you think about those people that actually put their lives in harm's way, and you as a sergeant major or master sergeant, whatever your rank was ultimately, served, but chose not to go into combat, but to claim that you did go into combat is a complete abomination. And he should be called out for it. But this is what I call people trying to trump up their resume. They're trying to do things that they didn't say, trying to sound more badass than they really are. And I think it's pretty ridiculous. He's a fraud. And so the only thing that he should have said at that point was, I served for X amount of time, I served proudly, and that's it. Leave it alone. There is no need to embellish. There is no need to lie about it because, again, fewer than 1% of our country chooses to do it anyway, whether you deployed or not. So it speaks to his character, Benny.
So it speaks to his character. He's held signs up that allegedly were handmade. He's done his own press releases on this. He's said it many times, and he's also many times apparently lied about his rank. Now, you can educate me here. You were also in the Army. So a command sergeant major versus a master sergeant. Is there a difference there? Because he claims to be a command sergeant major, yet the record shows that he's a master sergeant.
Yeah, and that's something that I want to look into the details of that. I think apparently he was a command sergeant major, a CSM. A CSM certainly outranks a master sergeant. Is the rank right above. So I don't know what happened there. I don't know if he actually was a CSM and then he got demoted. I don't know if he never was a CSM. But again, why even play these games? If you were a master sergeant in the military, there's nothing dishonorable about that. You could just claim that and you could just own that. Like, why would you actually lie about it? And I think I haven't looked into the details of that. I've heard multiple things, but please know that today and tomorrow, I do want to get to the bottom of it. Because again, I don't want to get to the bottom of it for me, Benny. I want to get to the bottom of it for the American people so they can know who they're voting for. That's what's so important. And the next 90 days are very, very critical. And one's character, if they're willing to lie about their service, lie about their rank, lie about whether or not they served abroad or not, that's really important for somebody that could be a heartbeat away from the presidency.
Yeah. So in your deployment, did your leaders in your battalion, your unit, did they abandon you when you were being deployed?
No, absolutely not.
What would you have thought of your leader if they had done that? I mean, because I'm trying to think about my family and my brothers here and my company and the people who depend on me. And if times get tough, if I abandon them, if I take my kids to the orphanage and kick them out of my car and say, I never want to see you again, that's immoral, right? and
absolutely. Yeah.
that's seen as immoral in any world. And I'm trying to, because I didn't go to combat and because I'm not a veteran, I'm trying to find something that's similar to this action. Serving for 24 years, and then as soon as your unit gets called up saying, see ya, I'm out, that does seem to be a betrayal.
It's the opposite of leadership, and especially with somebody of that rank. It's something that you don't want to see, because that's just what the young soldiers look up to, and you have to lead by example. That's the whole point of being in a leadership position, rather you're a non-commissioned officer or an NCO, or if you were a captain in the military like me. If you look above this pin that I wear every single day in the halls of Congress, I wear it above my congressional pin. It's my combat action badge. I put it on every single day as a reminder, and I put it above my congressional pin as a reminder of the time that I served in Iraq. And what I really fight for is the American people. And I am a fighter, and I am a soldier, and I'm an American, and I am a patriot far before and far above me being a member of Congress. And I use it as a reminder every day to know that I cannot turn my back on the American people. I cannot turn my back on the people in my district. And that's what it means to me. So when somebody behaves in this way, I feel like it besmirches the sacrifice that many of us made. And by the way, when you're an Apache pilot, and I have been in combat, I got to admit, I have been shot at. It's actually a terrifying time to think that I got shot at yesterday. I have to crawl back into this Apache tomorrow and do my job. And I might get shot at, and I might get killed again. But if I don't do my job in my Apache, then somebody on the ground might not make it home to their mother. And I took an oath to defend them and to actually show up and do my job, even if it means my life. So this is very serious to people like me, and very serious to veterans. And that's why our community is talking about it in this way. This is why we are not wolves. This is pictures of us actually in combat zone saying, we are not that. We didn't lie about it. Here I am, and I did not run away from my duty and my responsibility, but I took an oath to defend this country.
Yeah, we I'm not sure if you posted it, but we certainly have this photo of you serving in Iraq, and this is trending. It's the #1 trend in the world, and it's the trending throughout my feed, where I see at least 100, maybe thousands of veterans posting photos of them serving, saying, I'm not Tim Walz. And that's a pretty powerful statement. Your thoughts on this trend, I think it really speaks, it speaks a lot more than any attack ad possibly could, that veterans are now no longer silent.
And quite frankly, too, Benny, and I thank you so much for your deference, and thank you so much for honoring us by thanking us for our service. I've been listening to you for the past few minutes, actually, on your segment. And even though you didn't serve, you are very thankful for our service, man. And I really appreciate that, brother, to be absolutely honest with you, because this is actually a community issue. This is not something that I feel like a lot of civilians can really weigh in on, because at the end of the day, if you chose to serve this country, that makes you different. I mean, we are still in the top 1%. Walz, JD, me, the people that we're naming, we still served our country. So this is an internal issue amongst us veterans, that we don't like it when even people in our community lie about their service, lie about what they did, lie about their rank. And so let us handle this. Let us talk about this, because we are the ones that did serve together, and we should be critical of those that actually lied about their service. And the fact that you're giving it to us, and you're showing Corey Mills, and you're showing myself, and you're showing others that served, and not attacking him because you didn't serve, I actually really appreciate that. And let us take care of this. Let us be the ones to criticize him, because we're the ones that put our lives on the line. We're the ones that have skin in the game, and we just don't like people that lie about their service.
This is what the show, I mean, this is what the stream's all about, right? It's like you give these voices, the voice, Trump taught us this, right? Like, the forgotten man and woman. And the American veteran, I mean, honor is nearly dead in the West, and the American veteran is one of the few honorable groups of people left in our society. And so you must give them a voice. So I've been texting everyone I know who's a global war on terror veteran this morning, and getting their take on this and trying to synthesize it all into the show. Many of them can't talk themselves, right? And don't have an audience. So that's what we were here for.
It means a lot.
I want to show you one quick clip and just get your reaction to it. Because again, I'm trying to synthesize this for the less than 1%, as you said, who actually serve their country, who may not understand these ranks and may not understand this issue. When Tim Walz is running for governor, he does a speech where he says, I want to ban all firearms because I carried them in war. Here's the speech, and I want to get your reaction to it.
Hope woke up like many of you did 5 weeks ago and said, Dad, you're the only person I know who's in elected office. You need to stop what's happening with this. I'll take my kick in the butt for the NRA. I spent 25 years in the Army and I hunt. And I gave the money back, and I'll tell you what I have been doing. I've been voting for common sense legislation that protects the Second Amendment, but we can do background checks. We can do CDC research. We can make sure we don't have reciprocal carry among states, and we can make sure that those weapons of war that I carried in war is the only place where those weapons are at.
Okay, so it's like, what does that say to you? And now this is an empirical fact, all right? He did not deploy to a war zone, and he's having to stealth edit all of his articles saying that he actually spent the war in Italy. So what does this say to you?
If he's claiming that a civilian-made AR-15 is a weapon of war, it just basically proves that he's never been to war, because nobody that goes to war is going to pick up a civilian-made AR-15 and walk into war with it. And by the way, as an Apache driver, that's a weapon of war. It has Hellfire missiles on it, rockets, and a 30-millimeter chain gun. That's a weapon of war to me. And I'm really sick of liberals using the word weapon of war. This crap started with Beta Reward. They have no idea what a weapon of war is. These people can't tell me the difference between 5.56 and 7.62. And so if you're going to sit here and talk all that trash about, oh, we're going to take your guns away and take away AR-15, and where when I went to war and you didn't go to war, it just proves how ridiculous this argument is. And again, a civilian-made AR-15, I hate to break it to all you libs, that is not a weapon of war. I can show you a weapon of war. A saw is a weapon of war. My Apache is a weapon of war. An Abrams tank is a weapon of war. I could show you some weapons of war, an F-22 Raptor. Let's have a serious conversation about a weapon of war. And it's not a civilian-made AR-15 that you carried in war that you never even went to.
Whew. Whew, man, that's about as hot as the barrel of your saw, sir. Off the Apache. Holy smokes. That's a meltdown. I want to give you just the last word on this because we're starting to see a bit of a trend here. Joe Biden regularly said that his son died in Iraq. This is demonstrable. He said it on the record. Now, we could argue that he's mentally deficient and maybe he's forgetting. That's what the Her report argued. But he did say this, and many people claim that was stolen valor because he didn't die in Iraq, period. The son didn't die in Iraq. Kamala Harris openly bragged, and there's article after article about it, that she was the architect of the Afghanistan pullout that got 13 American soldiers killed.
That sounds about right.
As Joe Biden looks at his watch during the dignified transfer in Dover. Yep. And so you're starting to kind of see it. They're starting to see like an architectural trend here with the Democrats that are being pushed for high office of great disrespect to the American service member. I just want to give you an opportunity to sound off on that, Congressman.
These people have no idea what they're talking about. Many of these people are morally bankrupt. I mean, we're talking about people that can't tell us the difference between a man and a woman. So how can we even imagine that they could be the architect of anything that's substantive or anything that's calculated regarding the military and that disastrous Afghan withdrawal? And how can we even expect these people to tell the truth about gun control and about what an AR-15 that you took to war is and not? I mean, these people are so confused that they have no idea which way is up. But Benny, I do want to end with this because I want people to understand this, that this election is very serious. This election is very important. This election comes down to basically two states, Wisconsin and Pennsylvania. We as a party are stuck on 268, and they put Walz in here and they put Kamala Harris to placate their extreme left flank. We are in the fight for our lives for this country, and these people are willing to do anything to preserve and stay in power, even lie about their military service, even lie about their deployments, so they can try to win Wisconsin and win Pennsylvania. We have got to wake up and expose these people for what they are in the next 90 days. We have to get focused. We have to understand what's going on. We have to understand this is the most important election that we have had in our lifetimes. This segment is all about how these people are going to sell their souls to stay in power, and you're calling them out on it accordingly. But we cannot rest on our laurels because this election is not over.
Yeah, it's not. No, it's razor thin, and it's yeah. I mean, it's something that is truly a matter of life or death, and we will remind everyone that President Trump has been shot at more than Tim Walz. Please follow the congressman.
Good point.
Please follow Well, you brought up being shot at, Congressman, so I thought we might as well. We know you're a strong ally of the president. Please follow the Congressman. 250,000 people follow the Congressman. They'll be one of the people that don't follow the great Wesley Hunt. And make sure that this country remains free and strong. Thank you. Godspeed.
Thank you, brother. Thank you for anytime, Benny. Thank you.